What happened in '99?
I was indicted. I had a serious issue with cocaine. And if you go into a hysterectomy clinic, you'll be surrounded by black women. And they look at each other and wonder why.
Welcome back to Rules and Wealth. We're here today joined with Dean Weitzman, better known as My Philly Lawyer. I would say personal injury lawyer extraordinaire, and car aficionado, who has brought with us an epic example of
accurate on both accounts, Cleo.
2023 Bentley Flying Spur Speed, and I got to tell you, man, this is insane. So normally I would let you introduce yourself and continue going. We're just going to skip that because it's not as important as what's going on behind me right now. We filmed the outside portion of this, and there were some things that I missed, right? Which were, number one, the fact that this behemoth has rear axle steering.
It does, yeah.
You pulled into here way too easily to position this car, and it dawned on me that the only way for you to do that was through the rear axle steering. The crystal in the headlight, or just the crystal design of this headlight is crazy. But anyway, we'll get around to that, man. Thanks for coming around today.
My pleasure.
Awesome.
I'm happy to support your endeavor, and I'm really excited to be in the first season.
Yeah, man, we're excited to have you because you are not just any attorney. You've got an incredible story, which I can't wait for you to share with our viewers. So tell us where your story begins.
I guess it begins as being the last born fourth child of my parents growing up in the Oxford Circle in Philadelphia.
Okay.
My parents were both hairdressers.
Both of them?
Both of them.
Wow.
Yep. And they worked together, had a beauty shop. I kind of grew up like around, ladies in the beauty shop and stealing from the cash register on Saturday and going up to the Roosevelt Mall to go hang out with my friends and spend a few bucks. But we didn't really have a whole lot. I mean, my parents had a little row house in the Oxford Circle that, they bought for $10,000 in the late 50s, early 60s, and never didn't have a mortgage on it. So they were always borrowing against the house, to pay their bills. So, they made enough so we ate. I had clothes to wear. I'm not saying we were, bone poor, but they didn't have a lot. And I always kind of looked at the world and saw that other people had acquired a lot more wealth. And that was definitely something that I wanted to participate in.
Okay. So was the path to being an attorney, right? Was that something that was carved out for you by your parents, or that's a decision you made on your own?
No, actually, if anything, they wanted me to be a doctor. Like
Okay.
I heard that growing up, like you're going to be a doctor kind of thing over and over and over.
We want a doctor in the family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't smart enough to be a doctor. I wasn't.
So you became an ambulance chaser.
Yeah, exactly. Touche. No, I became a lawyer who sued doctors.
Okay.
But I guess I didn't have the easiest time in school. I wasn't motivated in the right direction.
All right.
So I got through high school at the bottom quarter of my graduating class. I went to Temple because back then, they pretty much took anybody from Philly. It certainly has changed now.
It did. You had to have good grades when I got in.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I got to dig at you a little bit on camera because you were tearing me down behind the scenes. I had to get you on camera.
I'm sure you were a better student than I was. But I also worked full time in college. So like, as soon as I started college, and my parents didn't save anything. It was what I earned and what I borrowed in order for me to go to college. And I don't say that to knock them, but I was working full time. I ultimately became a manager for a group home for mentally challenged adults, and it was interesting. It was rewarding. It fit with my major in Temple. I was a psychology major.
Okay.
But 4 years of that, and I was burned out.
You were done, yeah.
I was completely burned out because I was living there, managing the apartment, had a staff, and didn't spend a heck of a lot of time doing my studying. So again, graduated from Temple with a C+, B- average.
Okay.
And applied to law schools. Got in some law schools all over the country, but
Okay.
I was able to get into Temple because they had a specific program. You talk about affirmative action. I was affirmative action because they had a specific program called the SPACE program for kids who were the first person in their family to go to college.
Wow.
And because of that, they had lower standards.
Okay.
So I got into Temple Law School, and one of my professors, there was 2 professors who interviewed me to get in, and one of them said, I just don't think you have what it takes. And the other one, thank God, had more seniority and overruled him, and I got in. My first year at Temple, they give a distinguished classroom performance to a student who does the best preparation every day for work,
Yeah.
and participates in the classroom discussion. And in 8 courses, I was chosen in 7 and awarded the Distinguished Classroom Performance Award.
Do you think that just happened naturally because you had an aptitude or an attraction to the law, or do you think you took that personally?
I think it was both.
Okay.
I think I finally got somewhere where I really loved what I was doing, and I think being told that I was too dumb to do it was what I needed probably to kick me in the butt and really get me focused on the hard work you have to do to succeed in life, not only in law school but in life, and so. And I got a distinguished classroom performance from the very professor who said, I don't have what it takes.
What's the color?
It's Viridian green.
Okay.
Viridian green. But then I made sure that we had enough black elements, like the rear fascia is entirely carbon fiber. This small spoiler here,
Yeah.
carbon fiber.
And it's funny because I saw this car at night, and I know the carbon fiber interior trim is gorgeous, but I didn't even know that this had exterior carbon fiber trim.
Yep.
A splitter,
Yeah.
the spoiler, even the side trim. On
Yeah, you have your side aprons
Oh my goodness.
are all carbon fiber. This is a Flying Spur Speed.
Mm-hmm.
It's the last Speed petrol engine Flying Spur that they will make.
Wow. W12.
W12, so they marry together two V6s.
Yeah.
And 0 to 60 time is in the mid 3s.
3.7. 3.7 seconds.
That's
200.
conservative. I think I think I might have beaten that.
Okay.
Just saying. Just saying.
What made you want to get into personal injury law?
Hold on.
No problem. You supplied the Bentley, I'll wait.
There we go. What made me get into personal injury law?
Did you know you wanted to practice that particular or go down that path while you were in law school?
Yes. It was an area of the law where I could make a difference in society. I could make the world a safer place,
Yeah.
one claim at a time, by forcing people and or companies, corporations, to act in a more responsible fashion or suffer the consequences for their failure to act that way.
Why did you feel compelled to do that at all?
I guess, you know, when I was a kid, my parents were on medical assistance, food stamps. I remember, you know, standing in line at the supermarket. And back then, I don't know what it's like now, to be honest with you, but thank God. But back then, you know, you needed to have like some manager come over to the checkout counter to check them out, to check the food stamps and make sure they were legit. So like, you know, aisle 7, food stamp recipient,
Yeah.
and I'm standing there feeling pretty less than.
I totally get it. I don't remember having growing up at a time where a manager needed to come in, but we had the food stamps. They were colors, like colored bills.
Yep.
And I remember going to the store, Key Food, and this girl I liked so much was working at the register. I'd been going to Key Food my whole life, never saw her there. All of a sudden, she's at the register, and
You got to pull out your food stamps.
oh my God, it was a crushing blow.
Right. In that regard, we're the same.
Yeah.
You know, it was embarrassing. And then
Very much
there
so.
was an incident where I was, I was like a pimply-faced kid, and I was seeing a dermatologist. And I was coming from school, and I probably was, bullshitting with my friends. And I got to the doctor's office late. And there was a waiting room full of people, and I'm sitting there like I am here. And he comes out and says, "Dean Weitzman?" "Yeah." And he like points at me and says, "People on medical assistance shouldn't come to a doctor's office late."
This is in front of the entire waiting room?
Yeah. And
Sheesh.
again, just felt like I was
This small, yeah.
So I really had kind of a desire to represent people who didn't have power, who were, powerless against those who had all control and power, and that this part of the legal business really fit well with that desire.
The headlights, we were just talking about this. So
Yeah.
you were helping me work on my pronunciation, Swarovski.
Yeah.
So there's no T.
Right.
Right, Swarovski crystals, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, maybe once we're in the studio, you'll be able to turn them on and see those.
Oh yeah, we will. We definitely will. So, I don't know if you got this cue, right? But in this lamp, you've got the B that is embossed or ingrained into the headlight. That is so gorgeous, right in the lamp. Beautiful. Did you notice that? Of course, I'm sure you did.
I want to see
It's
what you're
in the
referring
actual,
to.
it's in the B inside of the lamp. Did I just teach you something about your own car?
Yes, you did.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Beautiful.
There's carbon
Look.
fiber on the front fascia.
Look at how intimidating this is, man.
The front appearance is
Insane. Blacked out
it's strong.
grille.
It's strong.
My God. People look at my reaction to cars, and there's some folks, they can make a jillion dollars. They're gonna drive a Toyota Camry, which is, they're making great cars, by the way.
Yeah.
Beautiful, but this is a masterpiece.
Well, there's some people like you and I
Yeah.
actually get excited
Yeah.
about what it took to make
To
this.
build it, yeah.
This is a piece of art in many ways.
Yep.
And some people see a car as a form of transportation to get them from point A to point B.
Does this, is this functional, or is
Yeah.
this, wow.
If you try to grab it with some force,
Yeah.
it will automatically retract as a safety feature to protect the flying bee.
That's about as forceful as I think I'm gonna
on,
get.
there
There
you
we
go.
go. That's how you know he owns it. So, how long did you? This is your, if I understand your story correctly, and I know you'll get into this. Is this the second law firm that you've headed?
No, but there was a break.
Okay.
But this law firm that I now own,
Yeah.
I started there as a law clerk in 1987, or 1986.
Gotcha.
And I was there ultimately as an associate and then a partner, with my name on the door until 1999.
Okay. What happened in '99?
I was indicted. I had a serious issue with cocaine. In the beginning, it was just sort of like, hey, birthdays, celebrations. It very quickly became an everyday event, to the point where I was just really a non-functioning attorney.
And you're a partner at the firm at
And
this
I'm
time.
a partner at the firm. But what I never didn't do is bring work in. And so I was the rainmaker at that firm, even when I was toasted. And
That's wild.
and so I felt like I was entitled to behave the way I
wanted
was
to, yeah.
behaving because I was feeding everybody with my cases.
Right now, I'm picturing Leonardo DiCaprio in The Wolf of Wall Street right now,
Yeah.
coked out of his mind.
Yeah, that was me.
Wow.
Yeah. And what happened is the way they got, Al Capone. I did not pay my taxes. I was too busy. I had other things to do with that money. And
Like buy coke.
yeah, mounds and mounds of coke.
That's insane.
I got audited.
Okay.
I lied to the IRS. I ended up getting indicted for 3 counts of felony tax evasion. And as a result, lost my license to practice law. You can't, the legal profession looks down upon our own that become criminals and drug addicts. And so my license to practice law was suspended in 1999, early 2000. And it was a 3-year suspension. I had to walk my children into the office after having taken my name down off the door. I continued to work as a law clerk at my office. And I began going to meetings, to Narcotics Anonymous meetings, and got clean from cocaine and explained to them. It was, again, humbling but necessary. And you know what? Good, because I didn't have to have a mask any longer.
Yeah.
I didn't have to lead a double life. And everybody knew who I was and what I was. And I healed from that. With the help of other people, eventually, and during that period, that was the incubation period for my Philly lawyer. Because the name Dean Weitzman didn't have a lot of cachet at the time.
Didn't have a ring to it. So I have a couple of questions. You spoke about having to walk your children into the office. They're accustomed to seeing dad on the wall, and now you are
gone.
What was your family dynamic during this period? Were you married at the time?
Yeah, I was married to my first wife, and my children were young at the time, 5 and 6 or 5 and 7 years old.
Okay.
I went away for a month to a rehab. When I came back is when I explained to them in the terms that they could understand at that age what was going on. So they kind of saw me growing up as being a sober dad, clean from drugs.
Was your wife at the time very supportive of your journey at this time?
Yeah, okay. She was.
Awesome.
She was. And so during that period of time, I, as a law clerk, I continued to do the work I could do legally at the office. And after 4 years, and I reapplied, there was a very thorough application process for reinstatement. And during that period of time, I had begun to think about my Philly lawyer as being a brand so that, I wasn't the center of attention because I frankly thought at that time that it was going to be really tough to ever kind of resurrect my reputation in the legal profession.
Wow.
So I created my Philly lawyer, and I rolled out the URL, the website, in 2004 when I began practicing law again. My license was reinstated in 2004, and then
did you come back into the firm as a partner at that time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your partners were supportive?
partner. There was one, Saul Langsam was my partner at that time, and he was very supportive. Another one of the people in the village that, I'm here but for them.
So let's hop on the inside, take a look. This is insane. This is insane. We've got the Bentley trim, speed on the door sill, but you open it up and my God. Whew. How long do you typically keep your cars? Or something like this, how long would you keep this?
Maybe 2 years.
So this is me already negotiating how I'm gonna take possession of this in 2025, right? You had this since the onset of 23, or did you get it late 22?
I picked this up in April of this year.
April of this year. So I'm letting you know ahead of time, April 2025. This is what you're gonna see me in, most likely. Oh my goodness, beautiful. All right, so top in. Look at the detail on the key. On the key holder, this is just gorgeous, man, like beautiful. Look at that. You just sit that down on the table. You don't even speak. You just casually sit it down. All right, I love it.
Right there.
Perfect. Nice. Got a nice little start there. I like that. Beautiful. It's already set to sport mode. Engine running, warning, switch off. Okay, got it. All right, nice.
Let me show you one of the unique aspects of a Bentley. This front screen is a touch screen.
Beautiful.
And it is what you would expect to see in a Toyota or wherever else. I mean, they all do that nowadays. But with the push of a button, we have analog.
Insane. This would be the display that I use.
It's clean, right?
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
And one more touch.
Oh yeah, that's
or
oh wow.
You can have just a clean, perfectly clean fascia.
That's nice. So 2004, you start practicing law again. You've got My Philly Lawyer. That is a new venture, a new name, a new brand. Today, we fast forward almost 20 years, and you are a household name, at least as far as I know, in the greater Philadelphia area.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you to be able to, look back on how far you've come, to where you are today? And for our viewers out there that, at this point, I mean, this is such an incredible story. It really doesn't matter if they're practicing law. It doesn't matter whatever they're doing. That is a very intense comeback.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it definitely, the comeback was the product of a lot of people who supported me in that endeavor. And it is a good story because it shows you, when you're on your way out, as a person who was on his way out, I wore an ankle monitor. I was under house arrest. I was this close to actually going to jail for a period of time. The judge allowed me to stay home because I had young kids, and I did 6 months of house arrest where I could only leave the house to go to doctors or a meeting and work, and then I had to come back home again. I couldn't take the trash out because taking the trash out would take me beyond the point where I could leave the front porch.
Would you call it a blessing in disguise? Because, I mean, had you been paying attention to detail, paid the taxes, is it possible you could have still been? Wow.
Yeah, for sure. Because in my family, you either die or get clean. My brother, Ricky, he was 27, it was his birthday, and he put a needle in his arm, and it was the last thing he did.
Wow. I
was 19 when he died. Both of my sisters were in recovery. I've got 5 cousins in my immediate family who all died from overdose. So addiction is definitely, there's an inherited element, a genetic element to it.
Okay.
That not paying my taxes saved my life for sure, and gave me a much better life. Now after having lived the before and the after, I'm happier with the after.
Which leads me to my next question. How have you grown both professionally and personally since those struggles? How has that shaped this next chapter or these next chapters of your life since then?
Yeah, well, I mean, I participate in life today. I have a relationship with, I have 4 children now, and I think we have a great relationship. I'm a good boss. I'm a good friend. I like myself. None of that was possible until I started to recognize the direction I was headed and change that.
You think I'm kidding? I'm not saying this for TV. Like April 2025, he said he keeps him for 2 years. I'm on his heels, right? And I'm gonna give him a shit deal. I'm gonna make sure we just come in maybe like $5 cheaper than what the dealer is trying to give him. Tell us about these pillows.
These pillows are obviously an option.
Okay.
Bentley makes the pillows from the same leather that the same hides that they made the interior. And I believe a set of pillows was a $1,000 option. It's probably a stupid option. I'm sure there'll be plenty of people saying that was not necessary. But you know, once you spent $365,000 for a car, what's $366,000?
We've closed that chapter to learn and lesson. Take us through personal injury law for our aspiring attorneys out there. What are some of the craziest cases you've seen? How lucrative is this field? Talk to us.
You know, personal injury law can be very lucrative.
Okay.
I don't know, I don't know if it's for everybody. I find that for me, I'm able to relate to my clients, empathize with them. I really feel like I don't see myself as being up here and, they're down here. I'm fortunate to have the opportunity to represent them, but I care about them a lot, and I want to make sure that this world treats them fairly with regard to the issues that they're coming to see me about. Early in my career, before I lost my license, I represented a young boy, African American, who was at apartments and gained access with him and his buddies to the pool area because there had been a hole in the fence and it had existed for a long time.
Okay.
And he fell into the pool.
How old was he?
About 5 years old. And he was a healthy, vibrant, beautiful 5-year-old boy who laid at the bottom of that pool for about 12 minutes.